Terminator 2, split your brain in two while you snore, keep sleeping. My train of thought is heat seeking. My time is coming. I rhyme with combined gunmen. They robbing functions with diamonds the size of onions. Murder MCs and leave my fingerprints on doorknobs. The court finds me guilty. Might be different in the law's eyes. I didn't sign for nothing. They know I'm the truth. I don't just blow a hole in the booth. I lower the roof. A predator with the literature. It shows through my signature. Deliver more ditches for your clique. My crew thicker than porridge. Kicking your door in like you've been evicted for mortgage. With fatigues when I'm hiding in the trees so high I can breathe on a falcon. One of Detroit's finest. The home of players. Golden Gators. Keep them games rolled in Vegas.
Jason Powers, aka Elzhi, born May 12, 1978. Today's feature is a lyricist hip-hop fans hold in high regards, especially underground. To even have the honor and prestige to be called that is an accomplishment for any artist because it's the truest form of what you attempt to do as a rapper. At least used to anyways. Nowadays, rappers could care less about similes and metaphors, allegories, creative storytelling, using different flows that aren't trending, or coming up with unique concepts to songs like Elzhi's Fill in the Blank game, where he leads listeners to play along on the song Guessing Game, or Talking in My Sleep, where he paints different pictures of what might go on in his head as he dreams. Stories we all may have, but when we wake up, it's difficult to put in context or we can't remember them at all. As fans, we understand that takes a lot of time and effort and skill to sit there and think that intently on what you're doing. Then the precision it takes to write it all down and recite it exactly as it's pictured in your mind, instead of just going in the booth, high off whatever and blurt out whatever that rhymes, as long as you harm as many people on record as you can, have relations with as many women as possible, or often cross the line between confidence and narcissism, as you're expected to think out of all the MCs, you are by far the best and could never be compared to the others that remain beneath you. Rap is fun and lyricists are respected, but they don't always sell the most records, get the most recognition, make the most money, and at some point you can only write so many dope verses or have so many dope concepts before musically that gets old. It's one thing I do give new age rappers is they're unpredictable, and a lot of times for entertainment purposes in this new social media age we live in, that more than ever is key. Elzhi was right on the borderline of having the privilege to see both sides of how the rap game was and the importance of lyricists and how it is now, still rapping in the social age where clout matters, personality matters, charisma, melodies, sales, and activity socially matters. In some of these areas, Elzhi struggled over his rap career, and it made the transition from the legendary Slum Village to a solo artist easy to overlook. He was championed by the legend J Dilla himself to be a part of Slum Village and fit like a glove or long-lost member, almost too good to be true. But you know what they say, good things come to an end, and when he was pretty much forced out the group, he spiraled down a path of alcoholism, financial instability, depression, and having to deal with ignored personal issues of the past. Many expected Elzhi to have a bigger solo impact on hip-hop, but for these reasons, he's often forgotten or underappreciated for his contributions. Why is that? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music. Skip. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Elzhi is a rapper from Detroit that many fans praise for his writing skill and poetry-esque delivery, formerly of the hip-hop group Slum Village. He went by the initials Elzhi previously, but wanted to be creative and different from rappers before him and came up with Elzhi. Later, his former Slum Village groupmate Batin, who passed away, explained to him the deeper meaning of his name as God's Spirit, to which Elzhi didn't know. Coming up, he was quickly attracted to the late 90s local underground hip-hop scene and became affiliated with other artists like singer and producer Wajid, with whom they have a track called Stunted Growth that ironically helped place Elzhi on the map. Through that relationship and being a name on the local scene, Slum Village member T3 heard of Elzhi's music and and brought him to J Dilla, who immediately took to the music and understood Elzhi's creativity, offering him his first paying placement on his Welcome to Detroit album. In 2001, Dilla left Slum Village to pursue his solo career, causing T3 and Batin to look for outside help finishing their sophomore album. Their chemistry caused them to settle on Elzhi, and J Dilla himself signed off on it, knowing how dope Elzhi was and his importance to Slum Village's name continuing on. Stunt number 1, pushed out the side door. As this is really about Elzhi's growth stunts as a solo artist, for him, things began to take a different path when his relationship with manager and label owner RJ Rice of Barack Records went sour because Elzhi didn't always appreciate how Rice was handling business on behalf of himself and the group. Apparently, Elzhi wasn't the only that felt this way, as Batin felt the same neglect and actually left the group because of it. Slum Village is a legendary hip-hop group featuring a legendary rapper and producer in J Dilla, and together they made classic underground music and some mainstream success as well. Elzhi was grateful to have a chance to be added to the group and approved by J Dilla to do so. He was initially slated to have a few guest appearances here and there and wasn't supposed to stay on as an official member. But the group felt it best to keep him, and together they made underground classics from 2002 to 2005 before he released his first solo in 2008. Elzhi states that manager RJ Rice was the poison in Slum Village that was allegedly the reason J Dilla and Batin left the group. Funny enough, it was then Elzhi's turn. After word got out that Elzhi had new management, a guy by the name Jay Barber, RJ had issues with it, knowing Barber would ask to look at contracts and records, and he did. This caused RJ and Elzhi's relationship to sour, leading to him being taken off songs for their upcoming Villa Manifesto album and distanced from the group. Make matters worse, founding member and assumed leader after Dilla and Batin passed away, T3, wasn't stepping in on Elzhi's behalf, as if he agreed with RJ or at the very least didn't appreciate Elzhi's contributions enough in the past or the future. In 2010, he left Slum Village officially to focus on his solo career, one that was overshadowed by his time with Slum Village and underdeveloped because financially he couldn't do it all on his own like he hoped. Stunt number 2, depression and fan anger. Elzhi found being a solo artist outside the Slum Village umbrella to be trying emotionally and gave him too much time to be alone to think about how his career was going. Hurt by the thought of being pushed out the group, he began drinking more and more and slipped into what he didn't know at the time was depression. He still had great ideas for his solo career, but now being independent, he wasn't always able to flush those out and make them reality, so he and new management had to find creative ways to further his career. He started a Kickstarter project in 2013, which was intended to have fans donate to the making of the project, and surprisingly, he was able to raise close to $40,000. Fans grew angry though when years went by and no album was produced. Elzhi later explained that he was in the process of working on himself and getting his mental health back while dealing with obligations that kept him afloat as a solo artist. Between those, he couldn't find time or the right confidence to build an album, which is why it took 3 years to do so. Fans were left a bit disappointed with Lead Poison when it finally came out, as far as sound and production, while others praised it for the emotional side it brought out of Elzhi and the creativity shown on tracks like Hello, as he raps as if his song had its own voice, trying to escape being trapped on an instrumental forever. Elzhi is dope, but his inner dealings took time. Time he lost a lot of ears and favor. Stunt number 3, musically appealing to a new era. As time went on and changed in music, Elzhi found it difficult to transition into the new era and how rap changed. The one knock I'd put on Elzhi when it comes to the music is his music is not geared toward being an everyday listen. Yes, you will come across his songs and understand his skill and how dope he is, but how many times can you go back to that song and have to sit there trying to understand every single bar he spits? Many simply don't have the time anymore in this new era especially to do that. Nowadays, everyone's on their own independent grind, as time has made it easier on individuals to be self-sufficient and their own brand. So their daily music has to flow alongside that always on the go lifestyle. Music that's less complex, has an interesting beat, and easy to follow / sing along with are being made more and more because of the demand for it. Elzhi makes sit down and listen music, and that's fine, but it doesn't always sell or move the charts in today's climate as far as notoriety in entertainment. He continues to make and release music more appreciated on the underground rap scene as his music lost mainstream appeal after Slum Village. All in all, I wish there was a way artists like Elzhi are more appreciated, but that's just not the reality or time we live in. He went through the things mentioned, and it was unfortunate for his career those came up right when rap was transitioning into unfavorable territory for lyricists and thinkers like him. Dope rapper, highly underappreciated, and for these reasons, his solo growth was stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.